wonder if you'll help me kick off this service on this first Sunday and during Black History Month with our call to worship from the words of the great Langston Hughes. I dream a world where man, no other man will scorn. Where love will bless the earth and peace its paths adorn. Oh, I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way. Where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth, and every man is free. Where wretchedness will hang its head and joy like a pearl attends the needs of all mankind. Of such I dream my world. My world. Hey, a beautiful song for us to kick off Black History Month and sing, of course, is the great Let Every Voice, Lift Every Voice and Sing, James Weldon Johnson. I wonder if you rise up and bow to your spirit with me and join your voices in singing, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Singing about the slaughtered, you know, that just, wow, where'd that come from? Everybody's belting out the slaughtered. But it's such an amazing song. So much history to that. It's a great way for us to kick off Black History Month. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, and a special welcome to any visitors we have with us, first-time visitors, return visitors. We are delighted to have you with us, especially if you're in person with us, but also if you're joining us online. We are so delighted to have you coming to us from wherever you are. If you are visiting with us in person here, go ahead and sign our friendship book, which which we keep on the table in the gathering space. We can keep you apprised of the many, many, many happenings that we have going on here. And if you're online with us, go ahead and send a note, like it says on the screen there now, to office@faith.ucc, and we will get you on that newsletter list as well. Just know wherever you are here, as we always like to say, and it is a pleasure to be with you on this first Sunday in February. I just want to celebrate for a moment. My God, from the Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast a couple weeks ago, to the Peace Walk, to the Rosa Parks birthday celebration yesterday, where over 100 people were out here. What? To dining for women yesterday as well. I mean, what a start to the year. How are we going to top this already? My God. We have been crazy busy, all just phenomenal things. MLK Breakfast in March was great. The Peace Walk was wonderful. I was at Dining for Women, but I know you had a big crowd, and Rosa Parks' birthday was really a delight. Thank you to all of you that organized those events, sold T-shirts, got the word out, planned, called speakers, all of that stuff for each of those events, and just organized people to come together and be in solidarity with our Dunedin folks, especially in community, around racial justice and peace and good things that we need to speak more of. So thank you for all of you for organizing, just being a part of it. What a great way to start off the year. Really incredible. Hey, do you know next weekend there's a big football game? We know that? You know that? Who's going to win? Let's do this. We'll do it in a chain. We'll do it this weekend, next week. Who's for Philly? Philly? Who's for the Chiefs? All right, we're going to do it again next week. We'll see if the consensus holds. Maybe something. And who doesn't care? Every year. It's always the loudest. Oh, bah humbug to you too. Bah humbug, Super Bowl humbug, people. Come on, it's football, right? But anyway, what? Only for the commercials, yes. Well, hey, we have a challenge out for some of our fellow congregations to see who can donate the most soup for the Super Bowl. So it doesn't have to be soup. Canned goods of any kind are great. Bring them next week. Go shopping, hit the BOGOs, look for all the specials, and let's fill that gathering space up with food, and let's win this Dunedin Super Bowl challenge. Having fun while feeding our community. I heard the line on Saturday at Dunedin Cares was the longest that our folks that were dropping food off, 189 pounds by the way, were dropping off. They said they'd never seen a line that long. So there's so much need right now as prices still skyrocket. What are eggs, like $900 now for 12 eggs? Is that what it is? God, I don't eat eggs, or I'd be really bummed out. But yeah, $900 I think I saw. So yeah, just let's help stock that food pantry and help our hungry neighbors, sisters and brothers. And Super Bowl Sunday is a great way to do that. We have strategic planning. We also have to call a congregational meeting. Somehow we're going to squeeze that in on Mardi Gras, which I'll say more about in just a second. But Fran, do you want to come up and talk to us about the congregational meeting and next week?
Good morning, everybody. Here I am, the walking wounded. Thank you for all your cards and notes and thoughts and support. I'm really sick of not feeling good, so this will be the rest of the year is going to be really healthy. Anyway, for those of you who have not been here before, we had 3 strategic planning meetings: one in September, one in October, one in November. And really had a lot going in terms of helping us to plan for the future. And then Thanksgiving and Christmas sort of put a stall to everything that we were doing. So we're resuming next week. Prior to the Super Bowl, you'll have plenty of time to participate and get home for the Super Bowl. We're going to have a review by Neil Watkins, who has been leading us. We're going to have a review, and then we're going to ask people to break into one of 5 teams that you're interested in working on to help us together as a church to plan for 1, 2, and 3 years into the future. So plan to stay, it'll be less than an hour, but hopefully you'll plan to stay next week for that. In addition to that, in 2 weeks, we're going to have a congregational meeting. We mentioned that our neighbor back here had made an offer to us to buy a piece of land back there. we, for years, didn't even know that we owned that piece of land. We never mowed it, and recently we got an offer. The family over there offered us $7,500 for a piece of land. He has come back with a new offer. The piece is 30 by 48 feet. Then it takes into account the telephone pole that's out there, so you can't do much around it anyway. His offer is now $40,000. So, so in order to make the offer firm, we have to have a vote by the congregation, and we have to give two weeks' notice before a congregational meeting. So in 2 weeks, we will have a meeting. In the meantime, if you have any questions, see Betty or I or any of us on the leadership team about that offer. And lastly, I want to thank Jeff Genier. Where's Jeff? He's sitting right in front of me. Jeff, a couple months ago, I asked Jeff if he would be willing to make us a bicycle rack. And he has made the first one. Please look at it in the garden. It is in the shape of a butterfly. So it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Jeff. And as Mike said, all of the events that we've had so far this year have been so wonderful. I'm really looking forward to a great year. Thank you.
Thanks, Fran. We're glad that you're back with us. Absolutely. So yeah, $40,000 for land that we barely even knew that we owned. You know, so I think he's going to come 40,000 or what's behind door number 2. So we're going to play some games, have some fun with this. But we'll meet and talk and bring it back to you, and hopefully a firm offer in a couple of weeks here. But that's pretty exciting. That could help us do some things that we need to do. A quick notice: are the speakers working back there? Can you in the back hear better? No. That's what I'm wondering. So we got our sound installed, new speakers up front, camera, but none of them are working yet. So, we had them working to a point, not the camera, but so this is going to be a work in progress. So give us a couple of weeks. I may or may not be able to play 2 videos I had today, but we'll live. You can always find them online later. So bear with us as once we get this the way we want it, it's going to be awesome in here, and the sound is going to be incredible, because when they tested it out, this place was flooded with sound. So stay tuned for good stuff coming on the AV front. Dan, you want to make a real quick announcement on HEP?
Morning. Good morning. You know, with that choir and the way everybody was singing, I can tell everybody's romping and stomping today. Me too. I have some really good news on HEP. Tim Conroy, the bright guy that he is, came across a sign-up, I should say a program. It's called Sign Up Genius, and it's online. Tim is going to do a demonstration on this on Monday, February the 18th at 10:30. We'll have people out by noon. All those who have volunteered or are looking to volunteer for HEP, please attend this. We've been waiting for something like this for a long time, and Tim was just so good to find this for us. It's going to make things a lot easier for us. And by the way, we have reduced the hours from 4 hours of shifts down to 2 hours. Much more workable for us. Thank you very much.
Awesome, Dan. Nice work with HEP. If you have any questions on HEP and feeding our hungry sisters and brothers, talk to Dan. He'll give you all the answers you need to know. Nan Dahlberg's new group is starting tomorrow night at 6:30, 7 o'clock on Zoom or in person? In person, right here in person. Okay, be in the gathering space there. 7 o'clock with the book Take Back the Word. So if you have any questions on that, talk to Nan. She's got a book right there. Be happy to.
You don't need the book in order to be part of the discussion group. I'll make copies of what we're going to be talking about the following week.
Cool. Thanks, Dan. That's great. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, right here. Mardi Gras coming up. My goodness, you believe that? Mardi Gras is 2 weeks from today. It's the 19th, because that means that Ash Wednesday is coming up, and Lent and Easter. Oh my God, it's moving along so fast. So Mardi Gras, February 19th, we're going to have pulled pork sandwiches, all sorts of stuff. There's sign-up boards in the gathering space, a sign-up board with spots for you to bring some things. Tickets are $5, gets you everything. There's going to be Bloody Marys, I hear. I mean, you know, we're braving new ground out with the margaritas and with the Bloody Marys. So we can also BYOB as well. We're that kind of church. So, you know, BYOB, whatever you, BYOW, whatever it is. BYOP if you bring your pop, whatever you want to do. So, so we'll have a ball. We'll have some great New Orleans-style music, Mardi Gras music cranked up, and we'll just get ready to ease into a contemplative and quieter Lent. So I hope you'll plan on joining us February 19th, right after our service. Pray for nice weather and a very quick congregational meeting, and we'll get out and enjoy some food together and some hospitality. Quick couple of concerns here. I want to lift up Jude Decker. Jude's online with us. We prayed for June last week as she was awaiting some consultations with some heart specialists. She had one of those last week, and the news wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst either. It sounds like she's going to have a heart cath on of all days, Valentine's Day. So that's a good day to have some heart work done. And then hopefully that'll put her on a path to recovery, and she can get back with us. So Jude, we're thinking about you this day, and if you need anything as you're undergoing this time of kind of isolating and keeping yourself healthy, you just call on us and let us know. We will definitely be there for you. And also hold Julie Del Giorno and her family in your hearts and prayers. Last week we prayed for Julie's sister-in-law, Bernadette, who was in hospice and had likely days or a week. Bernadette did die on Thursday in hospice. So Julie, our hearts are with you and with Bernadette's children, Leah and Jimmy, who have now lost a mom and a dad in the span of 1 year. So that's a hard time. So give them our best, and we're thinking about you as you travel to bid farewell to Bernie. So lean on us as you need to. And then finally, I don't know, she's here. Is Janet Stout here in the building? Oh, there's Janet Stout. Janet joined us a couple of years ago before COVID, and she's loving it here. And now we're losing Janet. She's heading up to are you moving to Indiana, Janet? Illinois. You're going to Illinois. I knew it was one or the other. I always get them mixed up. But you're going back to Illinois. You got family there. We're going to miss you. You've been just a bright presence here every week, and we wish you the safest of travels. And I hope you'll be able to join us online with Luke and Patrick as well. I think they're moving as well. So yeah, join us online. And oh, they're staying. Oh, okay. Well, then we get them here. You got to make sure they come to church every once in a while and represent, right? Blessings on your journey, Janet, and we look forward to seeing you online. Okay. Yeah. Go safe. Any just real quick other joys or concerns real fast I can just relay? Yeah, Tammy? Oh, Chris?
I know all of you have followed Brittany's writing career through her submissions and publications at Dunedin Library. This year, she entered a competition for Scholastic.
Cool.
She won regional and is on her way to national.
Way to go, Brindley! Congratulations, Brindley. That is a joy. Your writing is amazing. Congrats. And that reminds me of another joy real quick. As part of yesterday's festivities, Lucy Valentino, I don't think is here today, had her artwork chosen for our first racial justice artwork, high school artwork initiative. So she took home the grand prize of $250, and she's going to donate half of it right to Dunedin Cares for Super Bowl Sunday. So how cool is that? Amy asked me to celebrate that as a joy. So joy, way to go, Lucy. Congratulations on some beautiful artwork. And speaking of, if you haven't had a chance to go and see the mural that was dedicated yesterday or shown off yesterday, go see it. It's right outside the door. Our artist Jade did an amazing job. It's really just a beautiful mural that just pops from the street. So if you haven't seen it, get on out there and take a look at it with your coffee after the service. So, Chris, you had a joy or concern real quick.
Yeah, it's somewhat of a joy. My brother is at peace, and I want to thank each and every one of you for all the wonderful thoughts, prayers, cards, your everything. I know you were with me when I was there this last weekend, keeping me warm because it was very, very, very cold. So thank you again, and like I said, he is at peace finally, and it was a beautiful service.
Good. Thinking about you and your family as well. Yeah. Leslie.
Yes, my friend Sasha, who we had to pray for the cancer, now is back in the hospital with double pneumonia.
Oh,
So keep her in your heart, please.
absolutely. Absolutely. Keeping our hearts and prayers, and please, and pass on our best to her. Okay, Leslie? Yeah, Jim?
Yeah, I want to thank the Williams Circle for the flowers.
Adam Cara? Way to go, Adam Kara. We're happy you're spreading joy all over the place. That's a great joy for us to celebrate. So, Jim, you're with us today, and that's always a joy. So, absolutely. Hey, yep, go ahead, Beth Ann, and then we'll move into our.
This is a joy. We'd just like you to put March 11th, Saturday evening on your concert on your calendar for a Magic of Music concert. We're
Cool.
really excited about this guy. He's Canadian. He performs internationally. He'll be performing at the Palladium the day before he's here. We're part of a listening room network, and because we did some of the judging for who's coming to the Palladium, we got to choose and we got our number one choice. So
That's awesome.
be sure to put it on your calendar. I think you'll all enjoy it. March 11th.
March 11th, you got it. Concert right here at Faith UCC. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. BYOB. Opened up a can of worms with that one now, didn't I? Every church service now is a BYOB. Who knew? Well, I was going to play a video for our centering, a beautiful moment, words by a great theologian. He's one of my all-time favorites, Howard Thurman. We're going to try it, and if not, I have it here. I can read it. But I just invite you to take a few breaths and center ourselves as we always do in our time together, and try and breathe in a sense of that Spirit of God that's moving in our midst, yet is also connected to each of us so intimately. And just breathe in a sense of peace, and maybe try to let go of some of that anxiety that our world loves to put on us. Worrying about this and worrying about that. Sometimes we just need to let things go as best we can and just be. Let's either watch or hear these words by Howard Thurman, depending on what our AV decides to let us to do.
Lord, Lord, open unto me. Open unto me light for my darkness. Open unto me courage for my fear. Open unto me hope for my despair. Open unto me peace for my turmoil. Open unto me joy for my sorrow. Open unto me strength for my weakness. Open unto me wisdom for my confusion. Open unto me forgiveness for my sins. Open unto me tenderness for my toughness. Open unto me love for my hates. Open unto me thyself for myself. Lord, Lord, open unto me.
Walking with my brother, walking with my sister, walking all together, step by step, a long way, a mighty long way, we come a long way.
Good morning. Our reading today comes from the prophet Amos, chapter 5, verses 18 through 24. The prophets often speak harsh words of condemnation when the times call for it. They call us to see things honestly, especially in terms of injustice and oppression. Today's readings are no different as we hear God through Amos talk about the importance, not of religious acts and worship services and prayers, but of doing real justice when people are hurting. hear these words from Amos. Woe to you who long for the day of the Lord. Why do you long for the day of the Lord? That day will bring darkness, not light. It will be as though a man fled from a lion only to meet a bear, as though he entered his house and rested his hand on the wall only to have a snake bite him. Will not the day of the Lord be darkness, not light, pitch dark, without a ray of brightness? I despise your religious festivals. Your assemblies are a stench to me. Even though you bring me burnt offerings and grain offerings, I will not accept them. Though you bring choice fellowship offerings, I have no regard for them. Away with the noise of your songs. I will not listen to the music of your harps, but let justice roll like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. In these words, the anger of God at injustice shines forth.
It's going to work, isn't it?
When I was growing up, I was taught in American history books that Africa had no history, and neither did I. That I was a savage, about whom the less said the better, who had been saved by Europe and brought to America. And of course, I believed it. I didn't have much choice. Those are the only books there were. I am stating very seriously, and this is not an overstatement, that I picked the cotton, and I carried its market, and I built the railroads under someone else's whip for nothing. For nothing. If one has got to prove one's title to the land, isn't 400 years enough? 400 years, at least 3 wars. The American soil is full of the corpses of my ancestors. Why is my freedom or my citizenship or my right to live there, how is it conceivably a question now? What we are not facing is the results of what we've done. What one begs the American people to do for all our sakes is simply to accept our history until the moment comes when we, the Americans, we, the American people, we are trying to forge a new identity for which we need each other. Until this moment, there is scarcely any hope for the American dream, because the people who are denied participation in it, by their very presence, will wreck it.
What we are not facing is the result of what we've done. What one begs the American people to do for all our sakes is to simply accept our history until the moment comes when we, the American people, we're trying to forge a new identity in which we need each other. James Baldwin. James Baldwin, just saw American author, poet, playwright, and social critic, spoke those words in a debate at the prestigious Oxford Union at Oxford University in Cambridge in the year 1965, as he debated the father of the conservative movement, William F. Buckley, about the so-called American dream and about being black in America. Now, Baldwin represented the fight for civil rights and a critique of America amidst segregation and the full integration of American society. This is what he spoke to. Buckley, on the other hand, great William F. Buckley, according to History.com, I pulled this gem off that website, had been opposed to the enforcement of the 1954 Brown v. Board of Education decision, the March on Washington, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. He also referred to James Baldwin as the eloquent menace, setting up a grand showdown in Cambridge. End quote. The eloquent menace. So to set the stage a bit, the Oxford Union debates had for decades, since their very first debate in their creation in 1823. Think about that, how long these have been going on. That Oxford Union debate has been the epicenter of some really powerful debates and conversations from leading voices from all around the world on a whole variety of really important and relevant topics. They still are that to this very day. And this debate between Baldwin and Buckley in 1965 surely has gone down in history as one of the most powerful, with most people, even Buckley himself, really claiming that he lost. He lost that debate. He admits it, but he says he came out with his head held high. Oh, whatever. You lost. Came out with your tail tucked between your legs, too. So that was obviously early on. As Baldwin finished in the tape, that was early on. As Baldwin finished his part of 15 minutes, each got 15 minutes, and part of that, which you just saw there, he received a rousing standing ovation by a crowd of hundreds of mainly white people. I think there were 2 black folks in the audience, and one of them was a dear friend of his. But he received this rousing and long time standing ovation. It said standing ovations on this stage, this highly regarded debate stage, were extremely rare. They just weren't something that happened, but Baldwin received the fullest of one, even as he looked shocked. As he, amidst all the standing and the clapping crowd, he really looked shocked. He did not expect this. So the American dream, it became clear to those standing participants that were clapping away, well, they heard the case, and it wasn't really all that evenly distributed. And James Baldwin had made his case profoundly through his personal reflection, his rousing oratory, calming oratory, I love that about him, and an honest look at the historical picture of America and its history. So I encourage you, if you haven't seen this full debate, it's about an hour, a little over, just go to the Google IHOP it, whatever you do, look up the Baldwin-Buckley debate in 1965 and enjoy one heck of a showdown and the unwavering courage of one prophet named James Baldwin. I want to share that clip and a bit of that debate because, for one, we're journeying into February, which is also known as Black History Month, a month dedicated towards celebrating the contributions and lives of black Americans to society and to culture. And we hear a lot of names pop up this month. We heard Rosa Parks yesterday, right, on her 110th birthday, would have been. So we celebrated her yesterday. You're going to hear about Maya Angelou, I think, in many places this month, and Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, Barack Obama, MLK, Malcolm X, John Coltrane, Miles Davis, a couple favorites, musicians of mine, and probably Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald, right? Maybe a little Porgy and Bess. All of these amazing lives and so many more black lives will no doubt be celebrated along with black history in general as an intricate and essential part of the American experience. Don't ever let anyone tell you it's not. You know who those people are. It is. So I wish you all a wonderful Black History Month. I hope it's a great month for us here. The second reason I wanted to show you that clip is because of what Baldwin actually said, especially that line I highlighted about looking honestly at American history and accepting it as American history. I'm guessing most of you have seen the news of one overreaching governor of Florida, who remain nameless, who's actually done exactly what Baldwin said we should never ever do attempt to write over or forget an important part of our history. In this case, we're talking about African American history, and more specifically the AP, the Advanced Placement African American History course, a wide-ranging course that focuses to take students on a journey from great African kingdoms and African lands in history, through the kidnapping, murder, and forced labor of Africans, through America's original sin, as some call it, the forced labor of slavery, enslavement of African people, through the Civil War, through construction, through segregation, through civil rights, African American cultural movements, contributions to society, right up to more recent times like black feminist movements and Black Lives Matter. I know you've heard of that, right? And black gender identity, and more historical and cultural black movements that are an intricate and important part of this nation's history. That is what that course covered in a nutshell. That's what that course covered. Wide-ranging course. I spent last week poring over all sorts of details of it, reading syllabuses and expectations and content, and I got to tell you, that's a great course. I want to take this course in its fullest. I don't want the whitewash version. I want the full course. And actually, this course had been redesigned. Did you know that? By scholars recently. Redesigned federally, and is now widely accepted by scholars of history, including prominent African American scholars. It was presented earlier this year, but apparently, when someone got a hold of it, it just contained a little too much truth. As we all know from the great movie, some people can't handle the truth. So the governor of this state, shall remain nameless, had some problems with it. Given the status of the Stop Woke bill that was signed into law last year, you've all heard of that one, right? Which prohibits any curriculum or instruction that suggests a person's, quote, status as either privileged or oppressed is necessarily determined by his race or her race, color, national origin, or sex. That's what the Stop Woke Act means. So our governor believed that AP African American History course went against the spirit of his own abhorrent and awful, cruel law, so he threatened to ban it in its entirety unless the whole course was reworked. Well, the overseeing body in the state of Florida called the College Board, they've been in the news lately, melted to the political whims of a governor looking to throw red meat to his base, and the whole curriculum was revised, reworked, and stripped of anything that appeared to be woke or that prompted any notions of systemic injustice, and especially purged ideas and voices from black feminist authors and historians and black LGBT voices as well. Stripped right out of there. Don't need those. For instance, among the people you'll no longer find in AP American History, it's one of the very first books I read in seminary by the author Bell Hooks. You won't find Bell Hooks any longer, one of the most profound black feminist American voices in history. She spoke hard truths, but apparently, again, truth is not what some people in the state want when it comes to history. So Bell Hooks is out, along with many other prominent, great scholars. Now, I would rather today, for this kickoff sermon on Black History Month 2023, I'd rather be lifting up Black history in terms of celebrating it, in terms of how interwoven it is, again, with American history overall, how you cannot celebrate one without the other, and how awesome and exciting Black history is to explore. But this year, it appears obvious that Black history is under assault, more so than it has ever been before, and we are amidst a movement in this nation to purge not only Black history, but so many other histories as well, given not only the banning of high school and college courses, but the dangerous and downright cruel book banning movements that have arisen in this state and in this nation in these incredibly confusing and trying days. Now, I just, in fact, read a list of books removed from school libraries in Duval County, Florida, last week, books which were part of a list called the Essential Voices Library Collection. Sounds like something I'd want to go meander on over to, right? Well, of course, there were a lot of African-American authors on that list. I know you won't be shocked, right? And other titles. I mean, The Gift of Ramadan. The Gift of Ramadan is on that list. My Two Moms. is on that list. And the follow-up to that, My Two Dads, also on that list. Or how about Crazy Horse's Vision is on that list. Or Dim Sum for Everyone. I mean, come on. You can't make this up. They're all on, and there's 170 more of them on this list. And there's something about each one of them, and I can't quite put my finger on it. What do you think it is? Can you help me? What would all those books have in common in the Essential Voices Library Collection? I can't put my finger on it. But it's obvious we're definitely going through some kind of dangerous craziness in this nation right now, centered fully in fear, misunderstanding, judgment, and politics, right? When these things collide, as we're living in the midst of right now, watch the heck out. Watch out and pay attention. So I wanted you to hear the words from James Baldwin, one of this nation's great lovers and powerful critics, because as he was saying, when we omit or disregard aspects of the history of our nation with all its warts and its glaring oppressions and its sins and crimes, well, we omit and disregard particular peoples of this nation and their stories and render their stories as incomplete and really unnecessary, and generally do so because their history in conjunction with America is replete with oppression and the denial of rights and overall humanity. For factions of America, especially those who live with all the privilege that America affords them, us, well, being truthful about our history is seen as kind of like wallowing in guilt. Have you heard that on the news? Well, I don't want to make people feel guilty, We're good people, we tell ourselves, and for whom things like slavery and segregation and other of America's original sins are just too off the table of discussion because they are, quote unquote, in the past. And I wasn't here then, and I didn't have anything to do with that, right? We weren't around then, so what do I got to do with this? So why burden good people of today, and why push this so-called woke agenda on everyone? I hear that all the time. Well, the answer to that is just to deny history then. It's to take it out of curriculums like we're seeing and only teach the stuff that makes you feel good. Makes us feel good and conforms to what the dominant narratives of culture are, as shaped by the voices with the power to shape it, right? Like our governor. Well, what does that get us in the end? It gets us what Baldwin described, that he thought he was a savage. That's what he was taught. He absorbed that into himself. That's what that gets us. And he said he thought that because that's what the books and the courses of the time taught him. That's what history was presented to him as. But there was a whole other history out there that wasn't being told. It was being hidden. One that taught him the fullness of his humanity. Unfortunately, he had to uncover that himself, and thank God he did, because he left us a powerful voice to always examine our history honestly, because only then can we begin the process of forging a more powerful sense of togetherness as a nation. That's what the prophets did. The one Natalie just read for us, with all that gusto, Natalie, that was a great reading. We could have heard any countless, I just randomly picked Amos. It could have been any of the prophets today. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Hosea, Mary, Micah, Ezekiel, and others. And we could have heard any of them because their job, time and time again, was to rise up and to preach words of challenge to their nation. In this case, Israel and Judah, when the nation was out of accord. They didn't hide from the sins of their nation. They didn't sweep them under the rug. They didn't keep it quiet. In case some folks, especially those in power, might feel bad or feel a bit guilty. No, they didn't do that. No, they screamed out the truths of the injustices of their nation and called the people to account for participating in them, injustices that all too often harm the poor, the immigrant, and the oppressed. You heard it. Woe to you who disregard the people. They would scream out, woe to you who turn your back on the needy. Woe to you who steal people's lands and houses. Woe to you who harm your neighbor. Woe to you who harm the immigrant and the person from a foreign land. Woe to you, nation, who has not been honest about your abuses and your treatments of people in your land. Woe to you. Whew. Time and again, the prophets called the people to accountability and interpreted their country's disastrous history at times in terms of the ways in which the people treated one another, especially the poorest and the oppressed and the marginalized, those whose histories are swept under the rug. The prophets called for an honest reckoning on how people were treated, and we need much more of the same today, as we are collectively editing certain wrongs right out of our history books and their courses, and right off our library shelves, and right out of school book collections. If it makes us politically uncomfortable, you know what we do? Let's just ban it, right? Get rid of it, of its current train of thought, rather than let's do what Baldwin said and accept it, learn from it, and pledge never to repeat it, and seek a stronger sense of togetherness that overcomes all wrongs. The prophets can teach us so much, and one of those I'm proclaiming today is James Baldwin. We need him today. And one final thing, and this is really a rant today. Just kind of came out yesterday, and I went and found a scripture text to match it. Not supposed to do that according to seminary. One final thing, I think this is really the center and core of this whole backlash and against honestly teaching history. I mean, really, it's a word that you hear over and over again in the media, either for good or for ill. And that word is woke. Ooh, I got an ooh. Woke. Is it so bad? Woke. It's at the heart of every decision, the very decision to cut the AP African American History course and the latest efforts to empty our libraries of any issue having to do with the acknowledgement of injustice toward some segment or group of the American population that has suffered discrimination or oppressions. Apparently that word is woke. Why, I ask, is this word so threatening? Are you threatened by woke? It's a four-letter word. Why is this so threatening? I went to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, where I go all the time when I wanted to find my words. They define woke as aware of and actively attentive to important facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social justice. They also said this about the word woke. Stay woke became a watchword in parts of the black community for those who were self-aware, questioning the dominant paradigm and striving for something better, end quote. Questioning the dominant paradigm, striving for something better. That's what it means to be woke? What's so threatening about that? Why is that so threatening? I mean, under that definition, the prophets I just referenced, oh my God, they were woke, weren't they? You know someone else that was pretty dang woke? Jesus himself, who questioned all forms of social dominance. He was woke as heck. Heck. To be woke, a term that leaves some people curled up in the fetal position in bed, is a liberating, freeing, societally challenging, oppression-lifting, and equity-giving, and just way of living in the world and advocating for the fullness of the freedom and the rights for all people, especially those whose histories have not been the dominant ones, but who experienced oppression along the way. Now, we should all be proud to be woke. Yes. For it means we hear those are suffering and will walk a path with them until they are not, no matter how hard we have to look in the mirror and look honestly at our own history and ourselves in the midst of it and accept it. So wokeness is really, at its core, an honesty movement where we answer Baldwin's call to accept our history and not hide it and hope it just goes away. So don't buy into the political fear-mongering when it comes to being woke, but be like the best of the prophets and others who embraced it and made it central to their faith and to their identity. Be woke. There is really no other way to be. I mean, if I'm woke because I see systemic racism, kind Baldwin was speaking of, and I want to help overcome it, if that makes me woke, well then damn it, I own it. I'm woke. If I strive to support my LGBT sisters and brothers who live their lives with fullness and freedom and equality, and that makes me woke, well then heck yeah, I'm woke. I respect people's use of pronouns, their chosen pronouns they use to, which gets people just all up in arms for some reason. Tucker Carlson, that they use to identify themselves. Well, then if I accept that and I advocate for that, and that makes me woke, then I'm proud. If I see the reality of climate change, I want to address it, and that makes me woke. Dang it, so be it, I'm woke. If I want to advocate for people just to be who they are, created to be, and love who they want to love, and if that makes me woke, I'm guilty as charged. I'm not afraid of a label that includes within it all the hopes and dreams and equality and equity and love and compassion that the world needs so much more of. I'm woke, and I own it. And I think if more of us can not run from that term, but say it and own it and mean it and live it, we can change this world for the better. So are you with me? Are you woke? Yes! Come on, say it. I am woke. I am woke. It feels good to be awake. It feels even better to be woke. Congratulations. On this first Sunday of Black History Month, or as soon as it will probably be known in Florida by decree of the governor, All History Matters Month. It's coming. Let us celebrate the contributions to America of our African American sisters and brothers like James Baldwin and so many others. Let this month remind ourselves not to run from our history, not to run from denying it so we can, not to run from it, but to run from denying it so we can use it to begin to create understanding and forgiveness, reconciliation, yes, maybe even reparation, and a stronger sense of togetherness, just as James Baldwin said, like the prophets said, and always, as we know, like that woke man from 2,000 years ago said, Jesus. This month can heal us, but only if we enter it honestly and leave the whitewashing out. History is multi-hued and a beautiful tapestry of color and diversity after all, and if that is too woke of a statement for some, well, get over it. Be woke, my friends. Happy Black History Month. Amen.
Troubles of the world.
Woke before, you sure are now. Oh, as we come together in this time of communion, as we always like to say here at Faith UCC, all are welcome to this table, no matter your background, your politics, your religion, all that stuff that divides and separates. We don't see that here. We just see a table and a feast and a time to come together to find sustenance for the week ahead and for the coming things that we will be engaged in. So all are welcome at this table. Simple instructions. Please come up the center aisle. We can have 2 rows. We have regular home-baked bread in the 2 baskets on the side, gluten-free in the center for those that will require gluten-free bread or just want gluten-free bread. And then we'll have juice over on the sides and cups or little baskets for you to put your cups in. It sounds so clinical, I know, but it's really meaningful. So stick with me. And as I always like to say, if you're not able to come forward or not comfortable coming forward, Joanne is our floater, and she will come find you and serve you right where you are. So all are welcome at this communion table. I wonder if you'll join me in our litany this beautiful Sunday. We come together at this table of remembrance with all of our differences, with all the various stories that we have to tell. Our differences make us stronger when we realize that the thing we share is that we experience God, the essence of life, the spirit of mystery, somewhere in our lives and in our encounters with and in the world.
In gratitude, we remember the Spirit of Jesus, His words, His deeds, His pathway to living. In gratitude, we remember the friends who have shared and will share our experiences of the wonders of our world. In gratitude, we remember those who need our compassion and help, and the creative energy of God which impels that compassion.
May this gratitude extend to action. Action to make the world a better place to live. Action to help our neighbors as well as strangers. Action to bring into consciousness the spirit of life, the hope of peace, the source of all.
Let us share this bread and this fruit of the earth as we share the fruit of the Spirit, as Jesus shared bread and fruits with his disciples and friends.
Today, as we gather for communion in this sacred place, we do so remembering how Jesus ate with his friends so many times, and they would eat, and they would talk, and they would ask questions, and they'd wonder about God together. On the last night together, after their conversation at the table, well, Jesus took bread, and he blessed it, and he broke it, and he shared it with his friends, saying, "Take and eat. This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in memory of me." And then Jesus took a cup of wine, I'm assuming the good wine, and he gave thanks. He passed it to his disciples, saying, "Drink this, all of you. This is the cup of the new covenant of blood. Whenever you drink of this cup, do so in remembering me." Oh, I wonder if you'll join me in just a little more intentional time of centering in prayer. Let me close our eyes and experience a little silence together. God of the eternal now, it is in hope and love that we join one another, and these grains and grapes in confidence that within them lies your sustaining and mysterious presence. And through this meal may we become one with the world. Through this meal may our hearts be opened to all the beauty in this world. And through this meal may we feel the power of Christ within us and recognize the living Christ in one another and always in the world. As we gather today, we invoke the Spirit of God that resides at the core of each one of us and at the heart of this community as we Celebrate communion in remembrance of the life and path of compassion that Jesus lived and that he calls us to. And may we always be guided in the timeless and enduring words of St. Francis to become instruments of your peace. Where there's hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, let us sow pardon. Where there is discord, let us sow union. Where there's doubt, let us sow faith. Where there's despair, let us sow hope. Where there is darkness, let us sow light. When there is sadness, always let us sow joy. May our world be blessed with your presence, and our lives be blessed with your presence this day, O God. To lift up all who are hurting in our community, those that we know and love, that we hold in the silence of our hearts. Just have a moment to pause for them, to lift them up. For all those places in our world where there is strife, let us just pause a moment and lift our world in our prayers as well. May your healing balm find us, those we love in the world, right where it is, O God. Hear our prayer this day. I wonder if you'll join me in praying that ancient prayer that our brother Jesus taught us from the Galilee far, far away long ago. We call it the Lord's Prayer, and I invite you to choose your most cherished image, whether that be Father or Mother or Creator or other. Will you join me in the Lord's Prayer? Our Creator, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Why don't we rise up in body or spirit before we come to the table? This is just the perfect communion song. We call it the servant song. Won't you let me be your servants? Let's rise up in body or spirit. And as the song ends, I invite you forward to the table. The feast will be open and ready for you.
Grace
Will you join me in this prayer of thanksgiving? May we be as living loaves, kneaded and shaped by the hands of God. May we be as wine of the Spirit, poured out that others might know joy. May love be the leaven within. May love be the flavor of thought and word and deed. Peace be among us all in this beautiful world and among all creation. Amen. And of course, as you all know, you need to come up afterwards and have more bread. So that's a homemade oregano dill bread or something. It was very tasty. So come on up and we can't let that go to waste. That's fresh baked. So y'all got to come up and have some more communion. How about that? Just want to say, as we come to the conclusion of our service, and we always do, thank you for your incredible generosity. You are the world's most generous congregation. I thank you for your giving. Thank you for your amazing talent, your time, your talent. It's just really blows me away every single week. So I'd just like to take this moment to say thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're with us and you're like, hey, I want to make an investment in this place. We don't pass plates anymore. One thing that went by the wayside in COVID, you're all saying thank God. Should we bring back plate passing? Who wants to bring back plate? Anybody want to say, oh, okay, never coming back again. Out of here. We just put them on the back table now. So if you're like, hey, I want to make an investment in this place, we have plates on the back table. If you're online with us, just go to our website, click on giving. We have PayPal, Vanco, and all sorts of other stuff there. So just want to say, as always, so thank you for your incredible generosity and supporting the work that we do together, allowing us to be a beacon of love, an awoke beacon of love in the community that needs it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you stick around today, get to know a new friend, greet an old friend, have some hospitality time. It's going to be a great month celebrating Black history. And the final Sunday this month, we have a speaker coming from Stetson Law School. So we're going to have someone with us during worship, and that's going to be fantastic. So we're going to make this a powerful month of celebrating a history that some people want to get rid of. We're not going to let them do that here. And so we're going to celebrate Black history all month long. I hope you have a wonderful week, whatever you're doing, and there's no football on today, so you all got to go find something to do. So if you're a fan like I am, this is like the most depressing Sunday. You're like, well, what do I do now? Wait a minute, I can't sit down and watch mindless football for 6 hours? What? Oh, Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl. I might actually have to find something to do. This is really sad. I don't know. I don't know what's Mike going to do today. I wish you whatever.
Did DeSantis make the Pro Bowl flag football?
No. We won't go there. We're not mentioning that name. I wish you, however this day unfolds for you, I wish you a blessed and wonderful day and a great week. But before we make our way out of here to go and have some hospitality time, we need to sing. So let's sing our way out of here for peace. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin right here with us.
Peace
everyone. Love one another. Stay woke. Amen.
Thank you.